Skull, and welcome back to Valkyrie's Art Corner. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to receive info when I release my new videos. Today we're doing a painting from a webtoon I like. It's called Olympus, and one of the characters that are in there, her name is Persephone, and it's a webtoon that's based on hers and the king of the underworld, Hades, relationship. So the way the artist and the author portrays the gods of Olympus is that she bases them in more modern times, and she uses a lot of monochromatic colors. So, like Persephone, for example, she's pink. Hades is blue. Hera is yellow. Zeus is purple, and I could go on. But check it out, Olympus on Webtoons, fantastic series. So what we're doing here is just kind of doing something similar to one of her panels in the comic. So we're just doing a mixture of purples and blues and just kind of blending all that together. And just adding in a light color of pink, because that's where she's going to be at. And then after it dries, I'm adding in white, just kind of like, I'm trying to remember how to say it. They're like sparkles, almost, just to kind of add some flip into the background. So what I'm going to do while the paint is still a little bit wet so I could see where I'm going, because I couldn't find my white wax pencil, is actually drawing into it to draw the outline. And I'm drawing more of the basic human figure shape with the circle for the head, and drawing the cylinder for the neck, and so on, just to kind of more solidify where I want her to be. So she's going to be in a sitting position in this one. So now I'm actually going to put her pink color in. And then I'm just going to do that throughout the entire thing, since even her hair is pink. So you kind of have to, if you want to keep track of where you're doing everything, you have to kind of like either change it slightly to kind of give it a cutoff, or you could just go in after it dries, draw on it again, and then just start doing your different shades of pink right in there, so that way you know where everything's at. Because sometimes when you do what I'm doing, you'll lose your lines and you have to redo it over again. See right here, I kind of changed it a little because also the way she looks in there too, she has like some patches of like a darker pink and then some patches of a lighter pink. So you kind of just make them how you go. But as I'm finishing that up and putting her hair in, Persephone is the fertility goddess, or also known as the goddess of the spring. And she is depicted in this comic as a young goddess born from the goddess Demeter, who is the goddess of the harvest. And she is actually kidnapped by Hades because he loves how beautiful she is, and he becomes very attracted to her. And she, in turn, actually marries Hades and becomes the queen of the underworld. So if you're really interested in folklore or mythology, definitely a story to check out. I'm not going to go into complete detail because I could talk about it all day, but yeah, so she kind of switches it around a little bit in the webtoon, where she gets a scholarship. It's called TGOM, I believe, the maiden goddess. I'd have to go back and look at it. But it's a scholarship, pretty much eternal. It's eternal maidenhood, to where she will not have any relationships really. She won't have any children. Just pretty much keeping her virtue. If you want to look that up later, I won't go into the details for that. But she comes to find out after her many interactions, and she becomes an intern in the underworld, that she actually really loves Hades. So she kind of flip-flops it around instead of Hades kidnapping her and stealing her to the underworld. Alright, so now we're just adding different tones of pink to kind of do your shades and lights and everything. And the shading doesn't really make too much sense in the comics, but it makes it look visually appealing. So that's kind of what I'm going for right now. Right, and then I actually painted out her hand down here because I didn't like where it was. So and now I'm just adding the shorts outfit that she has on, and then a couple little highlight spots on her hair and the rest of her. And then I repainted in where her hand should go. And then now I'm painting the blue flower. That's a common theme in the Webtoon series, is that she'll actually begin to sprout random blue flowers or pink flowers depending on what her mood is. So now what I'm going to do is outline her with permanent marker. That's one of my favorite things to do, especially when it comes to painting characters. So that way, I mean, I could do them realistic as well, but I just like doing that because it makes them pop on the canvas instead of just blending together. And then just with the marker, just kind of go over wherever the picture shows where the solid lines would be. And draw on her fingers. And her nose and her mouth. And then just drawing random strands of hair. And then you do this until wherever you see solid black lines are highlighted. One thing I did realize after I got done outlining that, I did not like the way her one eye looked. So after I finish outlining, I will go back into it and just kind of see. That's a good thing about paint and markers. The paint is the pigment in it, or the color in it, is thick enough to actually cover the marker, so you don't really have to worry about that. And then what I'm doing here is adding a crown of flowers on her hair. That, again, that's a very common theme in there. Depending on what her mood is, she'll just spring random flowers. One of her favorite things to do is to make pink or blue flower headbands for Cerberus, because Cerberus in this actually really adores Persephone. So when you read it, you'll see that's a very common theme. And see, with these parts right here, you don't want to worry about circling them with permanent marker, because you really want those to stand out above the marker. So, and then when you're finished, just sign or paint your signature. And then I'm going to add some little hearts here. So she's looking at the blue flower lovingly. And here I'm mixing up the extra color to kind of adjust her eye a little bit. And then add highlight. So yep, and that would be the end of it. And this is a picture of the finished one. It turned out fantastic, so I'll see you guys.